The GTA cover girls. We've all seen them. Contrary to what many people believe, these women are not just some random girls Rockstar slaps on the front cover. And for many of them, you can do a lot more than just meet them. Let's start off with GTA 5. And no, despite what many people think, this isn't Michael's daughter Tracy. First of all, this isn't the only artwork this girl appears in. The same girl can be seen in a poster in Jimmy's room in this artwork here. That would imply that she's either a model or a famous figure within the GTA universe. In December of 2013, it was reported that Lindsay Lohan was filing a lawsuit against Rockstar Games for using her likeness. She pointed towards this artwork and a character in the game called Lacey Jonas. Lacey Jonas definitely fits some of our criteria. She's a Vinewood starlet, she's blonde, she's young, in the public eye. In the storyline of GTA 5, she does play a fairly significant role where we have to help her escape the paparazzi. But I wasn't 100% sold that this was the bikini girl. And let's just say I'm glad I kept digging. You see, there's an issue with Lacey being our girl. In her own biography, it states that she's famous for high school movies. She's full of herself and sees herself as a role model for female teenagers. Not exactly somebody you'd expect Jimmy DeSanta to have hung up on his wall. Think of her as more of a spoilt brat High School Musical type of girl. Well, I did a bit more digging, and it turns out that there's another character in the game called Kerry McIntosh, who also happens to be famous within the game's lore. Her LCPD database bio states that she's 28 years old and a famous supermodel from San Fierro. The GTA 5 girl also has a very recognizable gold necklace, which just so happens to be an exact copy of in-game character Kerry McIntosh. Kerry's eye color, hairstyle, and necklace match the artwork, whereas none of them matched with Lacey Jonas. To confuse things more, a real-life model named Shelby Wellender was allegedly hired by Rockstar as the model for the game, but Shelby isn't listed in the game's credits despite her claiming she was expecting to be. I guess we'll never know without Rockstar officially confirming it. Another famous Rockstar promo art shows a blonde girl being arrested by a female police officer. Some claim it's an early beta illustration of Tracy. But what we do know is that the police officer on the left is a female officer, Officer Vasquez. Vasquez only appears in GTA Online's Crooked Cop Job, but only on the original PlayStation 3 release version. When the enhanced version of GTA 5 released, she was then replaced to a normal ordinary police officer. She doesn't appear in the story mode, and it's rumoured that originally she was actually meant to have a bigger part of the storyline, but then she was cut from the game. We're going to move on now to Grand Theft Auto 4, and GTA 4 is just as interesting. The Lollipop Girl. This artwork of her licking the lollipop actually featured in 2007, where her artwork was painted onto the side of a building in New York City to advertise the game before its release. Stephen Bliss, who actually did a lot of the GTA artworks, confirmed on his Instagram that the girl's name is Lola Del Rio, and that she was modelled on his ex-wife. Now, what's super interesting about Lola is that she actually has 6 fingers on her right hand, a mistake that somehow slipped through the net and was featured on the game's promotional advertising. We can also find Lola's LCPD database. So, Lola definitely exists in the game's lore, and according to the LCPD, you can find her standing at night in Star Junction. But despite hundreds of players trying to find her, none of the in-game characters actually match her illustration. So either Lola was removed from the game, or her character model was removed. But the same can't be said about the girl on the front cover of The Ballad of Gay Tony, except the answer was surprising. So the girl in the artwork for The Ballad of Gay Tony is called Joni, and she just so happens to be the head female bouncer in the Masonette 9 nightclub. She barely looks like her artwork. Joni works with Luis as part of the club management side mission. While scanning the dance floor for security trouble, she keeps in contact with you via Luis's earpiece. Like I said, you can get called into her office and perform some adult actions with her. If you end up seeing other women and flirting with other girls, she'll actually call you into her office and tell you off.
What's going on in here?
Nothing's going on in here. Nothing. The is happening out there. I saw you that on the monitor. Were you trying to rub my face in it?
I don't know what you saw, but it was entirely unintentional.
Moving on now to another mystery. Will we be able to discover the GTA San Andreas girl? Well, the GTA San Andreas girl, much like GTA 5's, is going to start off as a mystery. But that doesn't mean that I don't think we can get to the bottom of it. The rumor is her name is rockstar, and she's a famous R&B hip-hop singer who also happens to be mentioned in the game's promotional website, which was called Forgotten Legends of West Coast Rap. It actually turns out that she's got a pretty interesting backstory. This includes the fact that she's the ex-girlfriend of Mad Dog. It just so happens that Mad Dog also ghost wrote a ton of her music. She's blonde-haired, has tanned skin, and has released several albums. We can see one of her album covers here. However, there isn't actually a character in the final game that matches anything of this description. However, in a recent leaked document, which actually revealed some of the GTA San Andreas beta girlfriend ideas, it turns out that CJ was going to be able to get a celebrity rapper girlfriend, and allegedly her name was going to be Honey G, but this obviously was an extremely early beta version, and many of the girlfriends' names changed since this document was created, so this very well could have been the same girl. So I was ready to consider rockstar the artwork girl from the front cover, except things got a lot more complicated, and I want to share with you guys what I discovered completely by accident. Now, while I was playing through GTA San Andreas for another one of my videos coming very soon, I noticed a character that only appears in one cutscene. Now, if you blink, you're going to miss her. But right there's a woman that looks oddly similar to the girl in the artwork, and her name is apparently Bettina. I'll be the first to admit that this girl only generally looks like the girl in the artwork. Her hair might not be the same, she might not have sunglasses, and just because she's blonde and wears a pink top, it doesn't mean that she's the same girl. But this isn't exactly abnormal, because many of Rockstar's characters don't actually look like their final versions. And then I noticed that the girl in the game has a tattoo on her chest, or at least what looks like a tattoo. And then I looked at the artwork that this girl also has a tattoo in the exact same area that looks like the exact same pattern. Unfortunately, the original textures from the game are so low poly that there's no definitive way of proving what exactly this is supposed to be. And the reason why that matters, Grove Street Games took it upon themselves to make this strange, what looks like a tattoo on her chest, into actually a dollar bill in the definitive edition. But that doesn't really prove anything, because the definitive edition, as we know, was broken, and it's not like Rockstar gave them every single example to go off. It's not like they said, hey, this girl has a dollar bill in her top. So I think, personally, this is supposed to be a tattoo, and Grove Street Games got it wrong and made it into a dollar bill. And I want to know what you guys think about this one in the comments below, because we have to move on now to another GTA title. So let's move on to GTA Vice City. It's actually very similar to the Ballad of Gay Tony. So the Vice City girl is iconic, but she doesn't actually appear in any missions, she's not a main story character, and she doesn't even have a side story. It turns out that these are actually two women. They're actually twins. Their names, however, are not confirmed, but what we do know is that one of the twins is a bartender, and the other one is actually a stripper. And yes, both of them do feature in the game. However, we're not quite sure which one is actually depicted on the front cover artwork. It actually turns out that both twins feature on one single artwork with Ricardo Diaz, which can be found in the original PlayStation 2 game manual. This is the only artwork that we're aware of that features both of the girls on there. For the game's 10th anniversary, back in 2012, my god, that makes me feel old, Rockstar Games also released this artwork of the same girl. So in order to find these girls in-game, all you have to do is go to the Malibu Club and go to the bar, and one of them will be there serving drinks. In order to find the other girl, you'll need to own the Pole Position Club, and yes, you can end up getting a dance from her. Unfortunately, it's not advertiser friendly. Let's move on to the portable games. It turns out that surprisingly, the Liberty City Stories artwork girl is simply Maria Latorre, and not only can she be seen in Liberty City Stories, but she also features in GTA 3 and GTA San Andreas, so she's a pretty major character. I'm not really going to touch too much on her here. She's the wife of Leone crime family boss Don Salvatore Leone. This girl is actually a huge troublemaker. In Liberty City Stories, Tony Cipriani is essentially assigned as her chauffeur and bodyguard, where we have to end up rescuing her from trouble on many occasions. She then shows romantic feelings towards Tony. She then realizes that Tony has no money and decides to stay with Salvatore because he's rich. This girl's absolutely crazy. So we can check off another girl from our list as being confirmed in the game. But Vice City Stories is really interesting to me. This one we have two girls on the front cover. Mystique, she's the girl on the right, and the other girl is Destiny. She's on the left. However, these are not their actual names, because once again, in common theme with many of these GTA girls, both these women on the front cover are women of the night. So Mystique lives in downtown Vice City, and thanks to the game's official manual, we have a really cool newspaper clipping that explains how at age 18 in 1984, she won a Vice City Lotto scratch card and won $250,000. She split the money with Destiny. Now, Destiny, the girl on the left, is most likely going to be Mona, with Mystique being Mary. They just use these fake names because they're their street names. Mary, aka Mystique, she's the girl who we are sent to collect for Jerry Martinez at the beginning of the game and bring her back to the army base.
Corporal Vance, would you care to explain why there's marijuana hidden under your bed? And who the Sam Hill is this?
And Destiny, the other girl, is Mona. She's also a girl we can find at the party where we bring Mystique back to the army base. Their appearances, it's pretty much undeniable at this point that these two girls are the girls that we see on the artwork cover. Next up, of course, we have Grand Theft Auto 3, and the girl on the front cover this time could not be more simple. It's a girl from the game, and her name is Misty. Misty is a girl that you meet in GTA 3 that you meet extremely early on into the game. She's known for being a young woman on the streets tied to the Leone crime family. She's particularly connected to Joey Leone, and she first appears in the mission Luigi's Girl, where he sends you to pick her up and take her to Joey's garage. So we can strike Misty as yet another GTA artwork girl that actually exists in the game. Moving on to GTA The Lost and Damned, and the girl on the front cover here again is a girl that is from the story mode. Her name is Ashley Butcher, and she's the girlfriend of Johnny Klebitz, the protagonist. And yes, she's also the girl that Trevor gets freaky with in GTA 5. And she looks wildly different in GTA 5 to how she appeared in GTA 4, due to, I presume, the drugs that have affected her appearance. And what you might not know is that after Johnny dies in GTA 5, Ashley's death is actually a canonical event. You'll actually find a news article in-game a few weeks later revealing that she's actually sadly passed away anyway. So yeah, pretty sad ending for her and Johnny. Rockstar did these two characters very dirty. Probably some of the saddest storylines in GTA history. So this leaves us with only one last character to get to the bottom of, and it's the girl on the front cover of GTA Chinatown Wars. Well, anyway, this girl is called Ling Shan, and she actually dies in the story mode and has a very small appearance in the game for the amount of artwork she actually has. She has several artworks and promotional material, but she only appears in the game a very small or relatively small amount of time. So this would suggest that perhaps originally she was supposed to have a bigger role in the game, but for some reason that might have been changed. She dies in an alleyway after they try and protect a shop from some thugs. So next time somebody tells you that the GTA artwork girls and the characters in the artworks aren't important, you can point them towards this video and tell them they're completely wrong. If you enjoyed this video, it would really help me if you could click subscribe. I'm on a journey for 400,000, and if you subscribed, make sure you comment it down below so I know that you enjoyed this video.